What's going on today, guys, and welcome back to Eddie Studios for part 2 of how to edit video using your mobile device on Powerdirector. Today, I want to get into what the different tools do under your video clip when you're in there that we maybe didn't cover in the last video. If you haven't watched the first video already, click the link there and check it out first, then come back here because I'm going to start to cover the different tools that are underneath your video clip when you select your video clip, and tell you about what each of them do and why you may use them. Powerdirector just did an update and changed the look about it. So we'll spend a couple seconds talking about the new look, but get right into those tools and then stick around till the end because I really want to show you one little thing that Powerdirector doesn't have in there that's obvious, but there's a cool trick to do it that's going to help you out in just adding that finishing touch to your video. So stick around for that in the end. Let's get into those tools and Powerdirector's new look. I'm going to first start off by showing you how the app looks different now than it looked before. So this is kind of how you get into an old project. We're just going to open up last week's project, go to edit project, and then as you can see from last week's video, if you watch that, this looks different. I'm going to pop up the other video clip now just of this so that you can see how it looks different. Alright, so you see how like the edges are all rounded and everything here. Then if we go through our left hand side where you would select your video or your photo or your music, it looks a little different. The folders look a little different in the way it's set up. What I was really trying to show you in this video is the different tools that you have when you select a clip on your timeline. So on our main top layer of our timeline, let's start going through those tools. I'm going to select that bottom left pencil that is our editing button. So under edit, you have your timeline split, which isn't selected right now because I'm at the beginning, but if I move a little bit, it selects. So I have the option to split it like I did last week when I was splitting timelines and cutting it together. And another thing I want to tell you about that real quick is that the little bars to your left and right of your selected clip allow you to also just use your finger and pull your clip to where you want to cut it if you want to do that. But I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm going to leave it where it is. And then volume allows you to adjust the volume within that specific clip, and you can fade it in, fade it out by just selecting these, and that gives you a quick fade in and fade out without having to do too much finessing. Audio mixer now allows you to adjust the volume in the whole line of that, the whole layer of that timeline. So that whole top layer, I could adjust the volume down, and that would adjust everything in that top layer down. Same with the next one and the next one after that. So that allows you to adjust the whole layer of that timeline. It's kind of nice. And then we got our audio tool. This allows you to either use a denoiser, and then you can select how intense that denoiser is, or you can use a voice changer, and it has different little fun voice changes in there. And so I encourage you guys to play with all of these. I'm not going to get too in depth about any of them today, but I just want to show you what they are and explain a little bit about what they do. Filters is going to be like an image filter. So for instance, that changes it, this changes it. You can go through and adjust any of these, and then it's kind of like adding a LUT or a filter to like a photo. And then you can go through and adjust how strong they are and stuff like that. So that's nice. And there's more you can even download for it. This is what I'm saying. This app has so much stuff. Adjustment is the actual color grading to an extent. Now, this isn't the most amazing color grading software, but you can finesse your color a little bit. So it's nice. And then you can finesse it, and then you can add this adjustment to every other clip in this layer by selecting the button that's on the left hand side that's 3 down from the top that looks like 2 layers of paper with a check mark there. So if I selected that, it would add this adjustment to every other clip in this timeline. I'm going to back out though and just take away that adjustment. I'm going to get deeper into doing those color corrections in a different video. You got your speed adjustment. This allows you to do 4 things here on the bottom. That is mute it so that you don't hear any sound at all, while you know how speed can screw up the sound, and keep the pitch if you do want to have sound, but you don't want the pitch to be all high pitched and stuff if you go fast, or low pitched if you go slow. And then you can ease into it and ease out of it. Easing in and easing out is going to help with making it flow nicely in your timeline, because you don't really want to go from normal speed to super fast or normal speed to super slow-mo. It's nice to have it ease to that, so that gives you that option. And then you got your effects, which can be anything from like a glitch to, and that will like glitch through the video like this. If I'm dragging it here and it's glitching, so you can add that. You got all kinds of ones, and then the one in here that I'm going to really get into in our next video and show you a couple tricks with it is our Gaussian blur. And it does have a Gaussian blur in here, and you can do some really fun stuff with that. So I'm gonna get a little into it in the next video. You got your stabilizer. Just like when you stabilize any clip, it's going to actually crop it in. So if you notice, when I remove it, you'll notice it comes out in crop. Did you see that? So it came out in crop, and it's really nice though. It's a decent stabilizer. I've used it on several occasions and had it work really well. What I can say is if you're going to cut up a clip and use sections of it, stabilize the clip first so that they aren't different crop factors when you adjust the stabilizing. So stabilize it and then do your cuts. And that'll help make sure that the crop factor is the same on all of them. Skin smoothing, I'm not really using that often. It's more for if you were shooting somebody that was sitting straight in front of the photo or in front of the camera in an interview setting, and you just wanted to help get rid of some of those blemishes. You could just play with the skin smoothing. I don't use it that often, but it definitely is a nice handy thing that they have added recently. Fit and fill is, it allows you to use a clip of a different aspect ratio on a timeline of like, say 16:9. So if I wanted a 1:1 on the 16:9 aspect ratio, it gives you options on how to create like a background in those empty spaces. And I'll get into that on a different video. You got your pan and zoom. So if I go to this custom and I click it, it brings me to the screen here that's going to select my starting position, and then you use your fingers on the screen to decide where your starting position is, and then you would use your fingers on the screen to decide where your ending position is. I could just like move it and zoom it in, and then we can play it from the beginning, and now it does all kinds of weird stuff because I moved it and zoomed it in. So that's cool. So I'm going to back out of that so that I don't have that. And then you got your crop, which is what it says. You crop in your image using your fingers to pinch. You have your rotate, it's what it says. You rotate, and you can rotate it all the way around. I'm going to just hit back. Flipping flips it like a mirror image. Duplicate's going to duplicate that clip. You click it, it usually sticks it right next to it. Reverses the clip, makes it play in reverse. Exactly what it says. I'm going to throw a photo into the lower layer of the timeline so that you can see how your tools change in the lower layer of the timeline. So let me just snag a photo real quick, and I'm just going to pick a random photo I used for of my son. So let's go here. So let's get out here, and I just want to show you that this is completely different. You still have your split, you still have filters, adjustments. Those are all the same. Opacity is your opacity, and you use this slider bar to the right to change it. And then your fade is fading in and fading out at the beginning and end. Blend is going to be like a blend mode that you would see in like a lot of photo editing softwares, where it's just kind of how it's appearing on the screen. You've got your mask, which you can create different style mask. You could do a circular mask like that, gives it an oval shape. You can adjust that size of that mask and where it is in the image, and that'll let you see. You could change it so it's like going to show you portions of it. It's either going to show you the outside of it or the inside of it, and then your bar is going to soften that mask. We'll get a little bit more into this in just a minute, guys. All right, so the transform key is going to be just like if I wanted to move this here, add a keyframe, and then let's move it here, and then it will automatically add another keyframe. And then if we play it through, it'll start with it down here, and then it starts moving between the two. So you can keyframe that image over. And I don't know why I hit another keyframe, but let's just back out of these keyframes real quick. All right, and let's get back to the center. Next is the FX, just the same effects we had in our top layer. And the exact same effects. You got chroma key is going to be where you can select a color to eliminate, like if you're doing green screen work. Skin smoother is the same. Duplicate, fix. Duration is just going to change how long the image is in there, which you can adjust with your fingers as well. But that will allow you to actually select a specific exact time, and then you can say that you want all photos to be that, or set that as default when you load a photo in, stuff like that. All right, so this pretty much covers all of this. And real quick, I want to show you the trick that I was talking about at the beginning of this video that I promised you for the end of it. And today's trick of the day is going to be, let me delete this. I'm going to show you how to create a vignette on your image. So we're going to go to the layer tab over here, and then I'm going to go under photo, and under photo it has this one selected called color board. Hit color board and you can pick any color, and I'm going to hit black. And if you picked a different color, I believe you can change that color in here. Yeah, so you could actually change exactly what color it is, but we picked black. So we're going to go with black. I'm going to move it all the way so that it covers the whole video. And then I'm going to take that black and I'm going to make it the full size of the screen. And next, last but not least, we're going to go to our masking tool. We're going to add the ellipse mask, and we're going to invert it. When we invert it, it gives you that ellipse with the dark on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and soften that right up. And then we're going to make it a little smaller. So you can see how there's a little bit of a harsh edge in there. But what I can do is I can back out here and I could change my opacity of the whole clip, and it will help eliminate that harsh edge. And there you go. So you do a finessing with your softness of your mask, and then you can finesse the opacity, and then you have a nice vignette. And I'm going to just make our clip a little shorter here so that you can see from the beginning to where the clip starts, you can watch the vignette come in. So watch as it goes over the black, see how it darkened on the edges, and it's a nice subtle vignette. So what do you guys think of the new look that Powerdirector just added? I think it's nice. But what do you think? Leave me a comment. Say if you liked it, hate it, think they should have left it. I don't know. It's an improvement, I think, but you know, I was fine with it how it was, but I think it's nice. And I hope that you got use out of finding out all the little tools and kind of what they do. And I really want to hear how it goes when you go play around with them and kind of what you experience. If there's any problems that you have, please leave a comment and I'll try to cover it in one of my videos. That being said, if you enjoyed this and you did get use out of it, hit that like button. And subscribe to the channel, but don't forget to hit the bell notification, because as I release these videos in this tutorial, you're going to want to see when they're coming out if this is the type of editing you want to do. I'm also going to do other videos along the way, get back into some of my one-wheel stuff, talk about the Osmo Pocket 2, and maybe I'll do a full video on this playlist of how my Osmo Pocket 2 pairs well with loading the footage in and using it on Powerdirector. So kind of a combo video there. That'll be a little bit down the line. Next week's video, I'm going to cover 5 little tricks to Powerdirector that maybe aren't obvious and clearly need some finessing to be able to do. There'll be a special secret one in there, but otherwise I'll list all of them at the beginning of the video so you know what to look forward to. While you're waiting on me to release next week's video, check out my video here on the Osmo Pocket 2, and underneath, if you've already seen that one, YouTube's going to throw a video at you that it thinks you might like on my channel. Again, subscribe if you enjoy this stuff. It helps me out a lot. I'm going to keep grinding here at Eddie Studios. See you guys next week. Peace.